Guy doesn't matter.
I haven't found.
I had horses, In those days, there wasn't too many back holes, He dug a big hole over on my little ranch over there to bury my first horse, yeah.
Well, he dug a hole to help you bury your horse?
He what?
Matt dug your horse's grave?
He dug the horse's grave, yeah.
Frank used to race horses years ago.
Yeah. I got four horses and a dog buried over on my little ranch.
Well, where's your ranch located?
You know what? At the corner you go south, and I had a white fence when I was there,
On Mount Carmel Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had 6 acres in it. Biggest ranch in Frontenac.
My grandpa used to, one thing I remember, he used to haul, he didn't say hey, he'd say, "Way, JT!" He'd always say, "Way." Now, is that just his idiosyncrasy, or did guys talk like that? Did they say, people would say hello, and instead of hello, he'd go, "Way!"
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
He had kind of a rough voice.
Oh, yeah, he was a rough German.
Yeah.
Talk like, we used to sing, he taught me to sing, "I found a horseshoe," he'd sing in that German. One question, were you born here?
Going to the next house right here.
Right
I
next
moved
door,
in here when I was
304.
Next house, yeah. Yeah,
And
304.
what's your birthday?
I was took February the 11th, 1903. I'm 97 today. Yeah, there you are.
Whoopee! How many kids in your family?
6 kids.
And what were your parents' name?
My mother was Teresa Yards.
Yards.
Yeah.
Okay. And your
Dad Frank.
dad was Frank too. Were you the oldest?
I was the oldest boy.
Oldest boy.
I had my sister was oldest. His sister Grace.
And there's 2 of you left.
Yeah.
So can you name them all from the oldest down to
My
young?
oldest sister is Grace, and the next one is Mary, and then me, and then Annie, Charlie, and then Johnny.
And who's left?
Annie and I.
You and Annie. Frank, did your parents immigrate here, or did?
Yeah. No, they came from Austria.
Both
Now,
Austrian.
Yugoslavia, see.
Now, were they married before they came here, or did they come here and meet?
Here, yeah.
They met here.
They got married and lived in Fleming.
Okay.
Over by Chicago.
And your dad immediately went to work in the mines?
He worked in the coal mines.
Okay. And how long
Not
did your
very
dad?
long. He didn't work in the coal mines very long because he had asthma. And then when number 2 exploded,
Up here at the Frontenac disaster?
He laid off that day, the day they had that explosion.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. And there was 60-some killed, I think, that day.
So he was laid off. So that's what fate.
He laid off that saved his life, yeah.
Oh my God. So well, that was before your time when that disaster happened.
Yeah, that was before my time, yeah.
Now, how old were you when you started going to the coal mine?
Started what now?
Went down to the mines.
You worked in the mine?
Yeah, how old were you when you started?
That's a good
We'll go back to when I was in school, see, before my experience in the mine.
Uh-huh.
I went to school in the fall, in September, to enroll.
Grade school?
And I would enroll in junior year.
Oh, junior.
And there was 5 girls and 1 boy. And I was that 1 boy, see. So I came home and I told my mother, I said, I'm not going to school with them 5 boys. Kids always took home when they were 15, 16, see.
Uh-huh.
So she said, okay, you don't have to go to school. And you couldn't get no jobs in those days, so I was glad to get the mine. I had a friend, Tom Kabonic. You knew the Kabonics? You probably
I lived next door to Kenny Kabonic.
Kenny, well, this would be
his uncle. Yeah.
Be his uncle. So I went to half-term with him at
Lautenschlager mine?
Lautenschlager and somebody else mine, yeah. It was kind of a
small independent?
little overgrown gin mine. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I went down.
Tell me about your first day in a mine.
So I went to half-term with Tom Kamani. So I worked for 4 days, and I was killing my mother and me going to the mine if she wanted me to go to school. So I quit after 4 days.
So you
and a lot of people asked me, how come you quit? You only worked for 4 days. I said, I got the black lung.
So that's all the coal mining you did was 4 days.
It's 4 days.
Never went
yeah,
back.
Yeah.
Well,
No, so I don't know much about the coal mine other than what people are talking.
okay. Well,
Mother had boarders, you know, and I hear a lot about their shops and didn't show off and different things in the mine.
now were they boarding right next door here?
Boarders.
Were you living over here?
I was.
You were born here, and did you
Yeah, I
stay
was 2
here?
years old when we moved in this house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you had boarders here.
Yeah, had boarders. Yeah, no
So-
boarders over there. Yeah.
So, how old was your dad did your dad,
My dad died in 1915.
did he get killed in a mine too?
No.
What happened to him?
He died with pneumonia. Yeah, in those days, you know, when you had pneumonia, it didn't last long.
So there's your mom with, what, 6 kids? How many?
6.
The kids,
Yeah.
yeah, 6 kids.
You
And
got-
sometimes she's had 4 and 5 boarders at one time.
Well, she had to stay alive somehow with your dad gone, ain't it? Nobody to help bring in a living.
Well, at that time when our dad died in 1960, he had the saloon here, see?
Oh.
See, we lived over
So
in
he'd
it,
stopped coal mining and he had the saloon.
Yeah.
Where was the saloon located?
right here on that corner. You don't remember that building, huh?
Right over here?
Out here, Dad, yeah, on this corner here, yeah.
Right out front here.
Right, yeah.
What was the name of the saloon?
Bozick Saloon.
Bozick
Bozick's
Saloon.
Corner and Bozick Saloon.
Yeah, I knew this was Bozick's Corner, but
Yeah,
so it was called Bozick's Saloon.
yeah.
And he died, and then did you guys continue to run the saloon, or?
Well, at that time, the saloon business, Kansas went bone dry.
Yeah.
See, when my dad had the saloon, he never went bone dry, so a bunch of boarders, when they wasn't working, they dug the coal out from the bottom of this here, and he had brought his bar over here, see? He had a saloon down here.
Down in the basement, yeah. He had one of those secret saloons.
Yeah.
I'm checking my camera here while we talk. So, we call that bootlegging, didn't we?
Well, that
Wasn't that the other name for it?
Yeah, a slot machine down this neck, I remember. And
Oh, you had a slot machine.
yeah, one of those big Chubb Hopkins, who had Chubb, ever heard of Chubb Hopkins? He had the livery stable, you know, in Frontenac.
Ah.
And he was a slot for it, but he had the slot machines and everything.
So you had now
He
wait a
had the
minute.
one-arm band.
You had a thing to go down in the basement and drink and
Yeah,
sit
the
there.
stairs we went down over on there.
Oh, you had a bar in the basement. You wasn't just
We moved the bar
bootlegging.
from the saloon on the here
Nah,
side.
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
So the bar was under here.
Yeah.
And so you have to pay off the sheriff and the marshal.
Oh, yeah, David.
Yeah.
You'll have to do that.
Well, my wife's, Pete O'Neill lives up the street here.
Pete O'Neill.
Pete O'Neill,
Yeah.
his dad John was bootlegging out at the farm, Dunkirk, and he woke up in the middle of the night, heard the sheriff was coming, said it was like real early in the morning, so Pete was the oldest boy, see, he ran to get the still. They had it all set, he could put it on a sled with the horses, saddle up the horse, put the still on, and take it and hide it. He said, well, you could just follow the sled through the dew and the horse, if they just followed the sled over and got it.
Yeah.
And so his dad had to go to jail, and he had to help run the farm and be the oldest boy. It was hard on him. He had to. But I talked to Charlie before he died, and he said, he was running the Frontenac press in the 30s, and he said, if it wasn't for the bootlegging and the illegal whiskey, he said, the whole town would have gone defunct. He said if it wasn't for people who had a way to make a living during the Depression and when the mines were out.
That's where wasn't good in liquor. My mother couldn't raise 6 kids.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's
She had a
so.
few boarders, but the boarders in those days in the coal mine didn't pay much. They didn't
No.
work very much.
No.
Yeah, they don't need it. They had a nice farm out there. I remember that house is still there too.
Yeah, the great Linda's. It'd be his great grandson, the old man Kate and old man John that built the house. Their great grandson lives in it now.
Oh,
Still out there. It's out there. Now another question in history. Do you remember in 21 when the women marched, when they had
oh yeah.
the Amazon army?
Alec Hout days.
On what?
Alec Hout. He was.
On Alec Howard, yeah, the king of the miners, the ones they loved. He went out against Lewis.
Yeah, John L. Lewis. Yeah.
And you remember you remember the anything about that? About the women miners marching?
Yeah, I can remember going by the few trucks, you know, the truckload of women going by, you know, and flags and different things, and going to
Exactly.
these mines, yeah.
Yeah. And how was Howlett thought of by the people around here? How was Alec Howlett? How did your family think about Howlett? How did they regard
Oh,
it?
that's for Alec Howlett. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
And what I've read is that when he got sentenced to jail because he went against the union law. Johnny L. Lewis told him to go back to work, and he said, "We're not going back to work because they're not treating us fair."
Yeah.
And so they put him in jail over at Columbus and appointed a interim union leader here. And the miners stood up and said, for every day he goes to jail, we don't work. Now this was miners, like you said, they got no food in their belly, they're starving, but they're so far behind him for doing that. It's like they were talking about what it was like to be a coal miner and try to make it. And he was the only one who was standing up for him because they had the yellow dog rule that said they couldn't strike. They knocked him out. And then the women, like you said, they went to all the mines, led by Joe Scubitt's mother, and hit all the mines and threw pepper in the eyes of the scabs. And then they brought in the militia.
Speak a little louder,
Yeah,
JT.
the militia to protect the miners.
Yeah, the militia.
The mine.
The mine owners, and shot over the women's heads.
Yeah.
There's a funny story. I was reading the diary, and the women went to out here in Frontenac. They were starting at 21 the drag line, and they were going to deep mines, and then they went to the drag line too. And the word was out, them women don't mess with them because they're upset. They went up to 6,000 women were marching. They came over the top of that side of that pit in the drag line. They said them miners them scabs was running, falling down.
Them women, if they'd had a bit of murder.
Oh, well, you know, they're taking food out of their babies' bellies.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing. So that was going on back then.
Yeah. See, that old mine, that goes back a long ways.
Well, that's an old one.
Yeah. See that horse, the horse drew the cage up. See the wheel, the cable wrapped around that drum?
Oh, yeah.
That's what brought the cage up.
And then the horse or mules brought the cage up?
Yeah, brought the cage up. Yeah. Then you get up to the top, and then they dump the coal down in that little chute right there. Then these coal haulers would come and with their little wagons and fill it up right there. See, there's coal in here, see?
Boy, that's like...
I think that was Bob Davis's mine. That was out here at the creek.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. You remember Bob Davis?
No. I know the Davises live next door to my old man, but are they related?
Yep. That was...
Clifford Davis, who worked for the railroad, was an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Jim Davis, live over here where Hippo lives, you know. In that house. Yeah. And Cobb O'Hara was his uncle.
Ah. Or he was Cobb O'Hara's uncle.
Yeah.
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 I got a date to call. I'm going to go do this with Cobb O'Hara too.
He'd be a good one to interview. Yeah, he knows a lot.
Yeah.
He's got a good memory. He remembers a lot.
And he's brassy but benevolent. I like to torture Cobb a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
Now tell me a little bit about your life going back to, you went back to school, you stayed in the mine.
I went to the automobile school. Irby had a business college.
Uh-huh.
A business college on Kansas and Broader. That building is still there.
And so you went to...
I went to the automobile school.
Now, to be a mechanic?
Be a mechanic,
or to run
automobile
a business?
mechanic,
Okay.
yeah.
And how long were you in school there?
Well, I was in school about a year.
And then what'd you do after that?
Oh, I got a job at the Overland Garage. It's on East 4th Street.
Uh-huh. And
Second block east on 4th Street.
so how long did you work there?
I went back maybe I worked there for about 6 or 8 months. Louis Hebden Street, you ever hear of him?
Oh, I knew Louis Hebden
He
Street.
was an old blacksmith years ago, and he turned out to be a mechanic, see?
Uh-huh.
So he got me, I was only making $17 a week, so he said, I'll give you $25 a week to work with me over here. That was back in hell. I was only 17 years old. See, that was a lot of money. I made more money than coal miners did, see?
Oh, yeah, a lot more.
Well, it didn't prove out too good because he wasn't making too much to make my wages, see? So he let me go. And I went to Detroit. Worked for
Oh.
Ford. Wanted to get $6 a day.
Now, what year did you
I
go?
worked, that was in 21, 20 and 21. And I was there a year and a half and I came back home.
Why?
Oh, this is another good one right here. You know, my mother was still in a bootleg business, you know.
Uh-huh.
'Cause, you don't know, shame to say anything like that, but the people from Frontenac, if you tell anybody you're from Frontenac, well, you better have something to do with
That's right.
Well, anyway, they sent me a picture.
And the best bootleg whiskey that was across the nation
That's right.
and Canada.
Yeah, because we had good water in those days, yeah. So they showed me the picture, they bought a new Studebaker touring. They sent me that picture of my brother behind the steering wheel, see. But that's enough of Detroit for me, and I came home, see.
And so what did you go back and be a mechanic here again?
No, that's what I did. I got a job at the Kansas City Southern Shops,
Ah.
1924.
So you're working on the big steamers.
Yeah,
The Malleys and
some Malleys, too. Remember the
Mhm.
Malleys? Oh, that was some machine. Big,
long, it was about
12
it
drivers.
was like a block long, weren't they? I mean, they were big.
Yeah, it had 12 drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you worked on the
On the steamers, yeah.
what was those other steamers? The Malleys was the great big ones. What were the other ones? I can't remember. I've talked to those guys. Anyway, you're working in the shops. How
They
did you
had
like
3 or
the
4
shop?
different kinds of engines.
Yeah.
They had a special engine for their passengers, you know.
Uh-huh.
Big, tall wheels and for speed, see.
Uh-huh.
I was a machinist helper. I worked there 7 years. I got laid off in 1932.
Depression.
Yeah,
What'd you do there?
bad time. Well, I went bootlegging.
Didn't everybody? Like I said, Charlie Cicero told me if it wasn't for bootlegging, everybody would have died
I
around
wanted to
here.
be in style, so I was a bootlegger. Me and you know Goosey Turlip? Don't mention his name or anything, you know.
Well, there's a lot of this stuff I probably won't mention when I write the article.
That crazy stuff you and
Lucy Turlip. Now
I
I
can
know the
believe that
Turlip
one.
Bill. I know the
they run the
Turlip.
store over there, yeah.
You mean the old man that ran the store on the corner of Grasshopper?
Yeah.
No, here,
That's,
Frontenac.
that's his cousin.
McKay.
That was Buck Turlip over there.
Yeah, Buck I knew.
They were right on the corner of, here, on
McKay.
Jefferson and Maine. And
Oh, right there where Milo Farnetti lives
yeah,
now?
Farnetti is right there.
Okay, so I didn't know
That was
there
his son, Goosey.
And Frank.
He's son my
So
age.
Gusti and you ran, now tell me a little bit about how you did the bootleg business. You contracted with the bootleggers and ran it out on the road? Were you a road man?
No, we made it and wholesaled it.
Oh, you made it.
Yeah, we made it. We had a still.
Now were you working out of
I made the still. And Goosey, he had the store and they got access to the sugar, you know. They get sugar, got it pretty cheap. We made whiskey pretty cheap, see. We got cheap sugar. But anyway, he was in that business about a year.
And then what'd you do?
And then I got
You didn't
into
go to prison, did you?
what?
You didn't have to do any time, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't do I always had somebody do the cooking, see. I do the delivering.
All right.
We delivered over here in Cherokee.
Okay.
Gross, you know where Gross
Yeah.
is? Yeah.
So after the bootlegging business, what'd you do?
I got in business in 1934. Yeah, I started a service station.
Is this the service station here?
Well, that came later, yeah. That's in 38, 34 when I got in business.
34, you got in business where? Pittsburgh?
You know where Longdon's flower shop?
Yeah.
I and Roy Wright bought an acre right in there. And I built a little building and we were the first one to have this cut rate gasoline. There wasn't any cut rates, you know, cheaper gas.
Uh-huh. So you had, now cut rate meant,
Yeah.
what was the price?
The cheapest I ever sold was 8 cents a gallon. Made 2 cents on a gallon. Hudson Oil Company moved across the street from me. You know, the Hudson, big business.
I remember when Hudson was still there.
They squeezed me out of business.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I couldn't compete with them.
So what'd you do then?
A Shell representative came by. T2 was in pretty bad shape, so he said there's a filling station on 7th and Locust, across from the post office. You know, before the telephone company built that building, it was way before your time.
Uh-huh.
So I said, you can rent that thing.
It's right across from the paper office.
In the paper office this
Yeah.
way, yeah. So I got started there. I got
Is that this one?
I was there a couple of years, and Tony Royce started, he and Oman Dobrock
Oh,
started.
Dobrock.
Yeah. They started this mobile, this started, see, in 37.
Well, look at the people here. We got
Hmm?
Dobrock, Royce, John Dobrock, Frank Bozick, Jim Davis, Clarence Prideaux, Harold Davis, Pete Gennardi, Tullio Baggiatorio.
Them was all his, Tony's station operators.
Uh-huh. All across the area.
Yeah.
Joe Hill, Frank French, DeMar Bosso, Mosey McCrae, Paul Robinson, George Jones, Tony Pontelli. They invite you to stop at the sign of the Flying Red Horse, the Pegasus.
So they really put on a good start right there. That all that good advertising there, yeah.
Now, were you managing station, or were you mechanicing, or doing both?
I lubricated and sold gas is all we did at that
Oh,
time.
okay. You didn't work on cars.
No, another little fan belts and something like that.
Yeah,
no,
but nothing big time.
mechanical work, no.
Okay.
I didn't care much for mechanical work.
How long did you do this?
I'll say that's 1977.
Oh.
I was in the gasoline business for 40 years.
Now, where did you go after the station, though? Did you distribute? Did you?
No, in 1939, I got in a recapping business. I recap tires in 39 and 40. That's where I got started making a little money when I got in the tire business.
Now, where
I
were
did sell tires. See.
Okay. Now, where were you located
In this building?
in the recapping?
In this building right here.
Same building.
Same building,
That's
across
his
from, before they built the telephone office.
No, that's the
Oh, this
Rosen
telephone
Brothers.
office was on Rose and Broadway. This is on, 7th and Locust. This
Oh.
is Rose and Broadway right
Oh,
here.
this is
My
Rose and
building is
Broadway.
still there. It's right across from the bank, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That building's still there.
That's just 2 blocks from my house, 3. I live on Euclid.
Oh, you did?
Rose, Euclid, the next one
Oh,
over. I live at 401 West Euclid.
Oh.
That's just 4 blocks from where I live.
Mm.
That's where the market was in there. What was the name of that little grocery store? Was in
On
there.
a corner, this corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a grocery store. Now, were you straight across the street on the other side of Broadway from the bank, or
Right east of the bank.
straight east?
That computer place is in there now.
They got computing and copies
Yeah,
in that
That's
place.
it.
So that's where you were.
that's the building. See, I
So
bought,
that's where you recap tires.
yeah, I bought that building after I was in there 2 years.
Uh-huh.
Then I built a big building and I got in the car business in 47, Hudson Cars.
Sold cars.
Yeah, so cars for 5 years.
Well, you've done a little bit of everything. And then when did you retire?
72.
How old were you when you retired? Well, we could figure that out.
He had a military.
No, I was
He went
70,
to the military.
I was 72 when I retired.
Ah.
So this would be not 74 or 75 I quit.
No, we left peace out about going to war.
Yeah, that's.
I spent 3 years in the service.
Now, did you go to World War One
No.
or two?
Two.
Two. You're too young for
I
one,
went,
weren't you?
yeah. I was drafted when I was 38.
I was going to say, you're a pretty old soldier.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
They called me Pop when I was in the service. Yeah.
Now, I don't know your history about as far as married or,
Who married me?
yeah.
I never was married.
You never were married. I didn't think so, but I wanted to make sure. So you went into service and you're 38 years old. You got drafted Army?
In the service, yeah. In the ordnance. I went in. I was in the ordnance.
And where were you stationed?
At Camp Camel.
Kentucky.
So you stayed in Kentucky through the whole war? You didn't go?
It was a year and a half.
Oh, where'd you go?
was in England. I went over in England. There 6 months before the invasion.
Before Normandy?
And I was, yeah, 5 days after the first wave went through, our tanks went in. See.
Now you say ordnance. What does ordnance mean?
Tanks.
Oh, you're on a tank?
Tank repair, yeah.
So you're taking care of tanks?
Yeah, we took care of tanks.
So what was it like when you hit the beach 5 days after?
The what?
What was it like when you came to Normandy and the beaches?
What was it like? It's really fighting there, I tell you. Yeah. We were. We was only in there. Was in the. Forget what way we. There was two of those.
What, the original
You know,
people who
when,
landed, the landings.
Beach,
Oh,
Omaha Beach.
Omaha.
Omaha
That's what
Beach.
you're
We was
talking
in there. We was only got in France maybe about 12 or 15 miles, and we was there. Was there for about 3 weeks. It's hard. The Germans are really doing a lot of fighting there. See.
Tell me about how long you were on the water, Uncle
Before we
Frank.
moved up.
He was on the water
Tell me
waiting
how
to
you were
go
on the
ashore.
boats waiting to land.
How long were you on the ocean waiting, on the channel waiting to get to land?
Oh, about 2 weeks.
You were 2 weeks on the boat?
On these boats, yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, in England, in England.
Did it make you sick?
Oh no.
On the
We-
boat, speak
We was
louder.
in on our LST boats.
Yeah,
The channel was the channel, English channel.
Yeah.
Was in.
but it wasn't choppy water or,
No.
or it didn't bother you?
No,
But you're,
we was right on the edge. See,
uh-huh. So you're waiting out there to
waiting
go
for
in?
the D-Day. Yeah,
I'll be darned.
yeah.
And then so you came in, and were you getting shelled and shot at as you came across with the...
No, they were pretty well cleaned up when we got there.
Okay, so you were
But there
coming...
was a lot of tanks and a lot of boats and stuff in there when knocked out when we got in.
Still pretty scary though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that movie on Saving Private Ryan about
No.
the invasion?
Uh-uh.
Pretty scary movie.
We've seen it.
He also was in Paris when they liberated Paris.
I got some. They should have took some pictures when he was there in Omaha
We went
Beach.
to Normandy,
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Normandy to see
When
it.
did you guys go?
about
3 or 4
the
years
year
ago.
the year before the big celebration.
Yeah,
By
we
the
went,
way-
1 month before the big celebration.
Let's take a break and say, now who are you?
Your name.
We'll go,
My name is Mary Lee St. John, and I'm Frank Bozick's niece.
and where do you live?
I live in Bradenton, Florida.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Frontenac. I'm from the class of 1948, Frontenac High School.
Okay, and who you got with you here?
This is my husband, Dick.
Dick, where are you from?
I'm an Army brat. I spent most of my early life in Washington, D.C. and some up near North Chicago.
Okay, and you've come here to help Frank celebrate his 97th birthday.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay, I just want to get them in a picture, Frank, so we know who's talking from the distance.
Yeah, we shouldn't be talking.
Tell me a little bit about Paris when they liberated Paris. What was that like? Did you have fun?
If it wasn't for that, I would have hated the army.
It's nice, look, you had some
We
redeeming
got
value.
in Paris, and I spent the whole. My buddy spent the whole night there. See, I was a tech sergeant. See, I had a pretty good rating. And we got a jeep and a couple of like 4 of us all together went into Paris. We was only camped about 10 miles from Paris. See, boy, that made it nice. We slipped into Paris.
Were they glad to see you?
Oh God, man, I tell you that.
Did you have a party?
Oh yeah, now, we met a couple there. Took us into these, you see a lot of those dance halls, you know, these. Oh God, I tell you. I'm glad you brought that back. It brings back old memories.
Stir your juices up again, ain't
Yeah, a lot of them don't like to tell. See.
it? Well, like I said, you got to have something good to hang on to every now and then.
Oh yeah.
So you came back from the war, and then you went back in business, like you
Yeah.
were saying. But
Yeah. See, my brother-in-law, he took care of my business while I was gone.
now, did you and your sister live here? Who lived here with you when you were living back here?
Yeah, I was here with my mother when when I went to the service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you come back and live here with your mother?
I came back.
And it was you and your mother lived here until your mother died.
Yeah.
You didn't have a sister living here?
My mother
My
lived
sister,
here.
I had a sister, yeah, no, I had a sister she was here for a while too.
Okay.
And I grew up here too, JT.
Okay, you grew up here
My
too.
mother and I lived here. I grew up
Okay,
in
that's
South
where,
Florida.
I thought there was more people around here when I was a
Yeah, I
kid.
grew up here.
And you graduated what year?
48.
Okay. So you graduated a year before I was born. You're just,
How old are you?
I'm 50.
Oh, you got old.
I'm a youngster.
Youngster. Yeah, you're just in your prime.
I am. I was telling Linda the other day, my wife, I said, you know, you spend it, you're trying to figure out what the holy hell's going on through, you grow up with the bicycle and it's fun running around. Then you hit adolescence, you're having fun, and then you go try to figure out what you're going to do, go to college, do that. You get out of college and then you say, gee, I got to start raising kids, get a job, and then you don't know what's going on. And then, like I said, by the time I get to 50, I feel like now I got something figured out, I can enjoy myself.
You got something to show for it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm living in Plater's house, the guy who started Pittsburgh. Plater was the guy who founded
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Here's a ironic note. Plater, now both Linda and I's grandpas and great-grandpas were coal miners, immigrants.
Oh,
My great-grandpa, John Knoll, Matt's dad, old John, lived in Chicopee, got killed in the Chicopee mine the same day my dad was born.
oh,
So my grandpa lost his dad and got a son on the same day.
I
Oh,
got
my.
And so we've got coal mining background, but Plater, who built our house, the house I live in, built in 1886, and Plater, who they were talking over how to get more workers for the mines, and some of them were talking about bringing Asians in, Chinese, and Plater said, no, go to Europe and advertise in Europe.
Yeah.
So now it turns out, over 100 years later, we're living in the house of the guy who decided to bring the immigrants, which is our ancestors, here to work the mine.
Oh, ain't that something?
Isn't that
You're living in
interesting?
that house. Huh?
Yeah. We're living in that big old
What
two-story.
street, where do you live now?
401 West Euclid.
401 West.
Now, Plater didn't live in there a long time. You know who lived in there the longest was Gibson's. They had the ice houses. Remember?
Yeah.
They owned ice houses.
Gibson, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Louise Gibson was born there and never married and died. Well, she went to a nursing home, but she lived her whole life until her late 80s there. So she had the house most of the time. It's mostly known as the Gibson house than Plater's house, but he built it.
Yeah.
It's a big old two-story.
Yeah.
Victoria.
Gibson, he's pretty well. He knew he'd built a good house.
Well, yeah, that's right.
It's on-
Well,
it's on the south
like I
side.
said, Plater built it and Gibson remodeled it. I'm the only house on my block that's got forced air heat. They remodeled it in the 30s, see. Everybody else is still working on steam pipes, but all those old houses. But see, they remodeled it in the 30s, the Gibsons did. And they went through the whole thing and redid the woodwork and hardwood floors and did a good job. I had the wiring redone. I thought, well, this house, 30s when they remodeled, I better get the wiring. The guy went in, he says, hell, you can't buy wiring that good today. It's like
Just
so
left as it was, huh?
well, some of it, I went ahead and replaced the downstairs, but I said, rather than cut into the walls and mess with the upstairs, if it's looking that good, there's no sense of doing it. But since he was already in there pulling it out in the downstairs, I just rewired the downstairs. But the other thing is that we were lucky, you see, because, like you said, these older houses, a lot of people let them go, because, they're old, they're antique, and that went out of style for a while. But Gibson's, like they had the money, and she had the money, so when we moved in 20 years ago, it had always been taken care of.
Yeah.
So we were real fortunate. We moved right into a house, an older house that was taken care of. And I've always marveled, see, I always liked this house growing up. I remember coming here Halloween when I was a kid.
You didn't turn it over one time, did you?
You mean your outhouse?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I did yours. I might have did somebody else.
We had a double in there.
Oh, you had a double holer.
Yeah, we had a double because we had boarders and stuff, see.
That was before he was born.
It'd be pretty hard for a young kid to pitch over,
Yeah, that's a double. Now tell me a little bit, now we mentioned some businesses in town. When you think about Frontenac, if you kind of recollect when you were young growing up, can you tell me if you kind of go uptown and kind of go through what businesses, if you start down at, for instance, start down at Heben Streets and come back up the block, what businesses do you remember in town?
Okay, on that side of the street, I remember Comac, they had
Matt Comac?
Matt Comac, painting and wallpaper.
Uh-huh.
Then we come back this way, of course, Peepee came later, that wouldn't be too long ago.
No.
Then we had the bank, the First State Bank. Remember, right on the corner, that brick building?
I don't remember that. Was it before where the post office used to be? Or was it on the other side?
Post office, yeah.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah, right in that building.
Okay.
Yeah, post office was in there then, yeah. And then Patton's had their, hardware, blacksmith shop in there. And then over there, Furchie's, Johnny Furch had the garage and the dance hall up there.
Yeah, I remember Johnny Fur.
And then I remember the theater was in there.
Yeah.
His name was, he was crippled. What the heck was his name again? I'll think of it later. You know, on the corner, Tom Elliott had the pool hall.
And see, I
And
never.
over on the corner there where Turnip is now. There was a bank there later.
Really?
Bank came in there. And then Palooka's.
Yeah.
Then had the building, it was Union Hall.
Yeah, where the
We
Blue
used
Goose.
to have a big, had a good stage and a lot of audience. And it was nice, a good building and it built.
Miners Hall?
Miners Hall.
Yeah.
Miners,
Yeah,
yeah.
medicine
Union. I
shows.
called it Moon Union, didn't I?
Yeah, it was the Miners Hall. Because
Yeah.
they even had the first graduation with the Monty Monahan and the people that graduated from high school. I think the first graduation class graduated at the Miners Hall. They didn't have an auditorium yet.
Oh, that's when the school had burned down, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think they just gotten the high school class started.
Oh,
It was the first graduating high school class graduated at
yeah.
Miners Hall when they just got up into high school. I think if I remember right. So that's the Miners Hall there.
Miners Hall, yeah.
Okay, and then what else do you remember?
And the next place, the alley. And then Scavizzi's had a tin shop in there. And right next to Scavizzi's, you remember Johnny Simeon? You probably heard of him.
Heard his name, don't remember.
Yeah. He lived on the corner house. And on across the house, another two-story house, Bailey's lived in, Ike Bailey. And then there was another little house or two, I don't know who they were. And then there was the Austrian Hall.
Uh-huh.
The
That was down, was it out on the corner?
That was on the corner.
Yeah.
And that's where Lipshack moved in. There's nothing. So there's some homes along in there. And then, oh yeah, Mark Richards lived next door.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
Now if you-
Crucick's right over back of them had a saloon.
And if you cross back over
Go on the other side
the
there.
church and come back this direction,
On the east side of the street, we come this way. There's a confectionery there. Oh, I don't know.
they had a
It was a
confection.
popular place. The streetcar always come and
Uh-huh.
stop right there. See. Yeah. I don't know. I forget that.
Yeah,
I
then there
come
was some more houses and you come back down there. If you come back
Well,
down
there
there,
wouldn't be any houses because
they were all built in
There's
there.
all buildings in there. Martin Sager had a pool hall in there, and John had a barber shop. Sabi's grandpa. You remember Sabi, the barber?
Well, I know Sabi's still going in there.
Yeah, he's still going.
I'd go in and torture him and try to practice my Italian with him.
Oh, I just was there the other day.
You get your
He
haircut
gave me
there?
a free haircut on my birthday. See,
He's a dandy, isn't he?
been in a barber 60 years.
I tried to, he won't even let me interview him. I tried to interview him. He says, no, I don't want to do it. I said,
Well, I'm the same way here. At one
I don't know, they talked you into it. Well, I got somebody
I
working.
never did anything special.
I got his niece working on him too. I'll get him sooner or later.
Oh,
But he says, I was sitting in, I tried to sneak an interview. I'm in there talking to him. I said, how long you been a barber? He goes, he knows what I'm doing. He said, a couple years.
yeah.
I said, what'd you do before you was a barber? He says, butcher.
Yeah.
I said,
That's thinking
where
of it.
was your butcher's? Holland Dillon. I said, damn it, Sabi, I want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. I said, well, maybe another day.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
So-
a dandy, yeah.
Oh, he is a dandy, and his
Yeah.
wife's getting Alzheimer's real bad, and he's
Yeah.
trying to take care of her. Is it Mag?
It's pretty bad, see.
Yeah, and he's poor thing. He's trying to take care of her and himself. I think he gets away in a little peace and quiet. She calls him about 10 times he's up there, but at least he gets to BS with his buddies at the barbershop.
That's why he's in the barbershop, on account of his wife, you know.
Yeah,
He gets a relief there.
yeah, I think so too. But you know, he loves her to death, and I know he tries to take his care of her. But she'll call him up and say, you know, I heard him saying, Meg, no, I didn't unplug the washer. You know, and I can hear her. Have you ever heard her talk? Because I go by there on my walks. They live not far from me, and she'll stop and I'll say, tutto e vere, buongiorno, you know, and talk in Italian, and she'll go, you better talk to him, because he's naked. And I hear her on the phone. She's in the background going, yeah. And he goes, oh, Meg. He's so nice and kind to her, trying to take care of her. You know, they've probably been married 65, 70 years. I don't know how old.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
60. He's
I
probably
was-
80 some, isn't he?
He's 79.
Is he?
79 or 78,
Yeah, so he's probably been married 55, 60 years.
probably.
Anyway, Sabi's grandpa was in there, or uncle. Who was it? You said had,
John Bartelli.
okay, had the barber shop?
Yeah.
And then you moved on up the street.
And then Lamb's had a confectionery in there. And then Chubb Dopkins had the livery stable.
Okay.
You know, Frisco's used to, they hired all the horses. Frisco's had their carriages, you know. And
Uh-huh.
you don't remember seeing those carriages?
No, I've seen
You've probably seen the
pictures.
pictures of them.
Yeah.
Well, Dopkins furnished the horses and hooks on to Frisco's was patents then, see. And then Marone had a clothing store in there.
Okay.
And then the big grocery store in there and butcher shop and everything belonged. The company store, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a company.
Patents. Was it
No,
Patents?
no,
store?
company. That was
It was
company. Patents come later.
Okay.
There was a little alley in there, then Patents.
See, you're pre all these things. I've talked to people about all these things, and you go back another generation beyond. You can tell me about stuff I haven't heard about. Yeah. You know.
Well, I've been here a long time.
Exactly, you have.
Right.
I have Frisco's records on their family.
Oh, you do? That's great.
Frisco was
Yeah.
very cooperative with me. I'm into genealogy.
Good for you. So you got the background on the whole. So if you could now pass Patton, is that it?
Patents had their morgue upstairs, see?
Uh-huh.
You had to go up upstairs. And then they had Patents, you know, from the cradle to the grave. They had
Exactly, I remember you
They had a
saying.
building there.
Mhm.
And then so Sylvester, there was a little walk alley so the kids could go to school and come in and go to Zilke's bakery at noon and get a little pies or something for a nickel, you know.
Uh-huh.
Well, anyway, Sylvester had the barber shop there. And I don't know what was in it. Yeah, Zilke's. And then Lesnick's had the hat store and shoes and stuff. You never heard of Lesnick's?
Haberdashery or clothing store.
Just do the light
I think
stuff.
Charlie, when I interviewed Charlie, he had a little bench from there. He said he told me a story of somebody taking him up and buying him a new pair of shoes.
At Lesnick's?
Yeah, at Lesnick's.
Yeah.
And then in his basement, when I interviewed him, he said that bench came from Lesnick's. He had a bench from Lesnick's.
Yeah. So after the folks passed away, the girl Helen, she kind of took over.
Uh-huh.
And then I think she married and went off somewhere. And on the corner was a KP Hall. That's where the Eagles building is, see?
Uh-huh.
And over there was a, I don't remember anything on that. I think there's a house on the corner. And then Pinamontes had a butcher shop. And further down, there was a, he had a, that could he have? He was a German guy, had the insurance and
That's okay, you can fade in. You're doing great.
What his name was in ready.
If it fades in and out.
Well, I could tell.
You might come to you later.
Just
Yeah,
can't see.
you can see it.
Yeah.
Let me shift your gears a little bit.
Who-
I want to shift gears and ask you another question. I want to ask you a question about characters in Frontenac.
Caretakers?
Characters, people,
Oh, people? Yeah.
like interesting people in Frontenac you remember growing up. Yeah. Now,
Mark Long, he was an interesting one.
what was he like?
He was a policeman, kept us home a lot of times. He was interesting. 9 o'clock, we'd have to be in, you know. Go
He
ahead.
run you home?
Yeah.
So,
He pretty
now,
good.
what? Speaking of why you had to go home, what kind of things did you do for fun around
Well,
here?
we had the curve, like when they rang that bell 9 o'clock, the kids have to be off the street. And that's what all they should have kept on. And we wouldn't have no trouble today.
So you had a curfew. Would they ring the church bell or would
No, City Hall, that
City
big
Hall
fire
bell, that big fire
Fire
bell.
bell.
So they ring the fire bell at 9 o'clock. All the kids had to be
Yeah.
off the street. Now, after you got old enough to go past curfew, what did you do for fun?
To do what?
What did you do for fun, entertainment, like on a Saturday night?
Oh, we played mumble peg, shoot my dare, and oh boy, we had a lot of good games. This Bozick's corner right here, we had a street light there, you know.
And you kids used to play out
We
there
play there, yeah,
under the street light.
yeah.
When you got
And
older,
during the day, oh, we play shinny. We had shinny.
what's shinny?
We get cans and we had clubs. See, boy, you know, our legs get skinned up with them cans. After you hit them, there'd be a lot of sharp places.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was shinny.
Yeah, I never knew about shinny. We played kick the can, but did you guys do that where you'd hide?
Oh, you was making things softer those days. That's why we got them spoiled today.
That's right, I was spoiled.
Yeah.
Now I want to hear about though when you got older. Did you go out running around on a Saturday night?
Oh, I didn't do too much running around until I was 17.
That's what I mean. When you got older.
Yes, sir. My mother
Now,
wouldn't
wait-
let. She wouldn't let. She wouldn't. We had boarders and stuff. They gave me a little stuff on a cigarette, you know, that they inhale. Said no smoking until you got 17. You're buying your own tobacco.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So after you got older and you could go out running around, where'd you go? What kind of joint? Did you go dancing? Did you like to dance and drink? And
Saturday, that was always a big night.
where some of the places you used to go to?
Oh, we have a lot of places to dance in those days, yeah. But the most popular place on Saturday night was Shady Lane over there by Capaldo. You ever hear Shady Lane?
Yeah, yeah.
That was a good spot.
And was it in Capaldo?
No, right. You know where the bridge is?
Yeah.
Just before you get to the bridge on that side. There's a bare spot still there where the dance hall used to be.
It's on the south side or north?
South side.
South side.
Yeah.
Just before you get to the bridge from the highway,
Yeah.
going into Capaldo.
The driveway is still in there, yeah. I went by there yesterday, it's still there.
Now there's one dance hall out there somewhere where my grandma met my grandpa. I don't know, was the Shady Lane would have been going in like 20,
Yeah, they was going 20.
18, 19, 20?
Oh, about 20, a little early yet. I know
Did
it was
this-
going good in 30.
There was yeah, that was probably later. There's a streetcar. See, my grandma and grandpa got married in about 1917, I think. Matt and Mary.
Was it in Frontenac or out of
No,
Frontenac?
it was out there somewhere because my grandma tells the story that the streetcar, you had to get off the streetcar and come across an expanse of field to get to the joint. And my grandma was in there at the dance and it started, and it was just, she said, raining like hell. And she seen this guy running hell bent to the wind across that field to get to the dance hall in the rain. And it turned out it was my grandpa. That's who she ended up marrying. But she tells that story when I used to talk to my grandpa. I said, how'd you meet grandpa? She could see her kind of look like a little girl and say, I was at a dance hall, but I can't remember where the dance hall was. It was out someplace where the streetcar line went close enough to get off and run across the, but it was out there somewhere.
Okay, you go out, I think I know, could be the place. Only one that I know from north of Frontenac would be Bill's Palace. You know where Devil Miller is?
No.
Mine number 11, Santa Fe.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, that was on that corner. Bill's Palace. Yeah, they dance on
Bill's
there.
Palace.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little bungalow house, and they got, man, must be some farm. He's got a lot of farm equipment in there right now.
Did a streetcar
Yeah,
go by
yeah.
there pretty close?
Yeah, that's right by the streetcar.
Okay, so that was probably it.
Yeah, and then further north you go, there was an open air in Franklin. Open, just you know.
Open air dance hall?
Yeah, just platform. You know.
Now,
That was in Franklin.
What kind of music did they play at the Shady Lane?
Oh, they had a good orchestra. Yeah, they had a good orchestra. Tuffy Scarlett played the big.
Oh, Tuffy's, yeah.
That was his dime. That was in the 30s. See.
So Tuffy's orchestra,
Yeah.
and was, do you remember who played with Tuffy back then? Any of the names?
Man played the banjo was. I can see those
Yeah,
guys.
I know you
like
can.
that, Yeah.
So they played big band dance music.
Yeah.
When it's just your basic 30s dance around a big circle,
Yeah.
dance music.
The orchestra band was in the middle. See, we danced all around them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And now besides the Shady Lane, what other joints did you have around here? Now I remember my dad talking about some, but you're another half a generation older than my dad.
Yeah. See, your dad was.
My dad's 80.
Yeah. See, he's younger than me.
Yeah, it's like I said, so you're just about old enough to be his dad if you'd have
Yeah,
got
see-
married young.
He could have had a few. Goals.
Well, he talks to me about, he remembers the Shady Lane. Because see, by that time, he started going to dance, he was running around when he was 16 years old going to dances, 15,
He
16.
was a cocky little bug.
Yeah, he was. He said, I don't know how I
He
made
missed
it.
out on anything.
He said, I don't think he says, I can't figure out how my parents didn't make me go to school more. Because he was in the pool hall about as much as he was in school, I think. But he used to
That's
go to.
why he's such a good pool player. you know?
Exactly. That's right. And he'll still, he's crippled now, he can still beat you.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? You give him a pool cue and he ain't crippled anymore. But he talks about the Trianon, the Blue Moon, those dance halls.
Yeah.
But do you remember those? The ones,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
the Gay Parita, I'm sure you.
Gay Parade, Blue Moon, and Frontenac at first his home was a good popular place
Was
at
it?
one time. Yeah, they had some good bands there.
And
A good. I like that Arma, Blue Moon in Arma. That was a good.
That was a good one.
Yeah, a popular place.
now was the tower gone when you were running around? Did you go to the tower?
Oh yeah,
Mama.
yeah.
You liked to dance.
I like, long enough to pick up a girl, then dance didn't enter the mind anymore.
You sound like my Uncle George Bazine. You know the Bazines from Franklin?
Bazine?
Bazine.
Bazine.
Yeah, Joe Bazine was a coal miner.
Yeah.
Well, he married my grandpa's sister, Agnes. Agnes
Oh.
Knoll married Joe Bazine. And, which, by the way, do you remember my grandma Knoll? The Knolls and my grandma Knoll growing up there?
Your mother.
Matt's mother?
Matt's mother?
You know?
No.
Uh,
I mean, I know your grandmother. I delivered
Mary.
meals. I delivered meals to her. Yeah.
to Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't know if you remembered the Knolls when they were growing up around. They were in Chicopee part of the time,
No, I
and
didn't
then
know that.
and really moved over later. So that's right, because she moved in and lived behind Frisco's on her own after her husband got killed and the kids got raised. She lived over behind Frisco's, where Frisco's lives now, and I think roomed in a little place over there for a while. But you didn't know her. So you danced long enough to pick up a girl. Like I said, you sound like my uncle George Bazine. He said,
I must
same
have
way.
picked up the right one. I was a bachelor all my life.
Or you picked up too many.
That's it. I think it was a trouble.
Yeah, you picked up too many
I
different
go to the
ones.
store not trying to buy a pair of shoes. It's pretty hard to pick them out.
Or there's too many kinds of cereal, you can't figure out which one you want.
then I was figuring it all out, and I got too old, and it was too late then. See.
Well, there's something to be said with both directions.
Yeah.
Marriage and being a bachelor. I'm getting ready to go this afternoon down to see a bunch of bachelors at the monastery. I go visit down in.
Where at Carthage?
It's on the other. It's not that one in Carthage. You got to go way farther south down on the other side of Springfield. There, you know where Ava, Missouri is?
Able, yeah.
Yeah, it's down by Ava, Missouri. about 20 miles outside Ava. It's right in the heart of there's 3,500 acres of pure Ozarks.
Oh,
It's a bunch of Trappist monks, bachelors.
oh.
I go down there and visit with them, and you
Well, I
know,
didn't know that place existed.
yeah, they got a chapel. Do you have a copy of my book? I'll get you one before I leave.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'll bring you one in.
Okay.
But anyhow, there's some stories in there about the monastery.
And there's
it
a lot of
describes
them
it.
there, right? A lot of them monks you said?
Well, you know, they've died down a little bit and they're coming back, but right now, they got about 7 or 8 priests and about 8 or 10 brothers. It's a small
Oh,
monastery,
yeah.
you know, but it's a nice quiet one. You know, some of those big monasteries, you might as well be going to Chicago
No.
because there's so much action around there. So this is a little one, so I like it because I want to get the heck away from everything for a little while. But I really like them. One of the things that people don't, well, it's just like talking to you. They think monks are just different. In fact, they're just full of piss and vinegar and talk and, you know, tell jokes and laugh and, you know, they're not any different. In fact, they're easier to talk to than the average guy a lot of times. They'll ask you about, you know, what ball team plays down there and how you doing. And they're not pious, like we don't talk about.
Yeah.
They're knowledgeable about the world, but they decided to be monks. They pray and work.
They're
on it.
educated, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine they would be a lot of old ones, right? A lot of,
Well, that's the problem right now. There's a jump. I've got some buddies who now, younger guys around the young ones are in their 40s. The old ones are in their, you know, they're at 70, pushing 80, and they're dying off. So they're trying to get new recruits in there to take care of the monastery. And they kind of fell out of favor for a while, but they're starting to get some other ones.
that's where the nuns is having that same problem.
Yeah, yeah, that fell out of favor too. You know, so, but anyway, I go down there to see the monks because, you know, it gives me a sense of kind of bachelors.
Oh, you go down there.
I can be a
once-
bachelor for a couple days. You know?
I know it's been a good life. Sometimes it's good, and then sometimes it's not too good.
Yeah,
But you're all right. You can go back to your married life. See.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I get both sides. You know, you're right, and I could understand how. Well, here's what I told my wife. I said, you know, I like both sides. I'm glad I get to go off and do that sometimes.
Yeah.
So I get to do both sides of it. You appreciate both sides
Both
because
sides,
you
yeah.
can. And so what you're saying is there's times where you probably wish you'd have had some wife and kids and family too.
Yeah, I always like kids too.
He would have been
Yeah.
a
He
good,
loves kids.
he would have been a
Oh,
good father.
that's
He's
it.
been very good to me and my.
Well, you know, sometimes you do your fathering with other people's kids too. It's one of the things I believe. You know, I work with kids. I work at the university and I counsel college students. And then I got 2 boys and we generally got 2 or 3 others in the house running around. And I think you spend well, I guess what I believe is all kids are your kids. You know, and I think you're probably the same kind of guy. It's like, kids are kids and they need somebody to pay attention, to
Sure.
care about them, to call them out and say you need to stop that, whatever they need to do. But somebody who's paying attention and cares about them.
And he's helped a lot of kids in the neighborhood. He's so good to all the kids growing up.
Yeah, I remember you. Like I said, we didn't have much of a relationship, but I remember you being over here. Like I said, the main thing I remember about coming here was trick-or-treating. And how I got invited in. You know, it's like some people just come to the door, give you the candy and leave. You always invited, come on in, let's talk. You know, you were BSing with the kids when they came in. A little bit of torture. It's just like,
I like the kids is interesting, you know.
yeah,
But surprised what you hear up here from kids. You
it's
know?
exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could, well, although I didn't know you well, I knew this guy you can tell if somebody likes kids or they don't. Kids can tell immediately. This person likes kids,
Yeah.
this person doesn't. So like I said, I like to come here trick-or-treating. In fact, I'm trying to think. I can almost remember one year what I got but I can't remember now what you were giving away. Because you used to confess, go to the good people's house. Don't mess with them people that give you that crap. Go for the good treats.
You're right. Yeah.
This is a good place to come. I remember. I can't remember what it was. Well, I'm going to ask you another question about living 97 years about any advice. I know this is if you were to give anybody any advice about living life, you've been through a lot to make it 97 years. You've seen a lot, gone through a lot. If you had any kind of thing that you'd tell somebody about living life in general, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. What people ask me, how come I lived so long and so on? You must have had something good about you, you know that. But I don't know what I could be. You know.
Any philosophy about how to live day in and day out?
No, I don't think. I don't know. I could. An old bachelor like me, they say, "Why, you couldn't get any good advice from an old bachelor like that."
Yeah.
I traveled a lot. I didn't miss out on much. I've been in every state but one in the United States.
Oh, you have? Which one did you miss?
Delaware. No. What's the little one right on
Vermont?
Rhode
on
Island.
the east
Rhode
side?
Island.
Oh, I've been. I like that Vermont. Beautiful country, Vermont. Yeah.
Which
Rhode
is it?
Island.
Rhode Island.
Rhode
Okay.
Island.
And what is your favorite state of all the ones you visited?
Of all the states, I don't know. Well, I think California. There's more to see in California than anything. But I like Colorado.
Did you do motoring, driving trips?
I drove. Yeah.
Drove through, took your time, looked around, talked to the people,
Yeah.
get the feel for it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Then I have relatives in Colorado. You know, they.
you go visit
When you
them.
got relatives.
And
And I've
Aspen.
been from one end to California cleaning the others, and that's a long state. Interesting, yeah. I like California.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me,
Yeah.
and I congratulate you on
Sorry, I
97
couldn't give you
years.
more information.
Oh, you gave me a lot. Mostly what you gave me is your essence of being, you know, you are incredibly aware and connected and got a lot of spiritual energy.
That's a good person.
Well, I feel pretty. I thank the good Lord every day
Do you?
for what I am. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. You gotta have him. You ain't kidding.
that's right.
You darn right.
Can't do it on your
I
own.
know
can
you. I know you favor him a lot too. You know.
Yeah,
know
I
you
do. I do.
The people that don't, they're making a mistake.
Well, it can be a pretty lonely go
Yeah.
if you don't have that connection,
Okay.
or if you don't connect with it. But like I said, it's there either way. You can either take it or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can either go for it or you not.
Yeah.
So you, how many years have you been church member?
A church member.
From the time you were a baby
Yeah.
all the way up?
I'm the oldest one in our parish.
So did you?
I'm not the oldest member, but I'm old. I was baptized in 1903.
Uh-huh.
Back in the old. I remember, you know,
Before it burned down?
Yeah, the old school. Church was
Uh-huh.
on the corner.
So you're baptized in 1903.
1903.
So you've been 97 years a Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what? Let's circle back. I have to stop in just a minute, but what was Catholic school? Did you go to Catholic grade school?
Just for my communion and confirmation.
Oh, okay.
That was-
You didn't go to they didn't have Catholic school back then to go.
No, just maybe a year to get my confirmation. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And you did that. So you've been a bachelor. Did you serve on any of the committees or altars or the Holy Name or do any of that kind of stuff at the church?
Not the church, no.
Yes.
I wasn't that close to it. I was altar boy a few times.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Do you read the paper still?
Oh, yeah.
Morning Sun?
Sometime I need a magnifying glass, but I
Did you?
can
I wrote an article about being an altar boy a couple of weeks ago
Yeah, we read
Yeah.
it.
on a Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did you like being an altar boy?
Oh, no. I felt pretty proud of myself in those days.
Yeah.
But now you have a heck of a time getting an altar boy. Poor father, he has to wait on himself a lot of night.
You can't get an altar boy. You can't
That's
get a
not the
paper
boy,
boy.
that's not the kid's fault there.
The paper. You can't get a paper boy either. It's paper adults.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right.
There are adults.
Yeah, adults are delivering
I
paper.
tell you,
now.
I got a good paper boy. He puts the paper right by my door every day.
I do too. I got a paper girl, but
Oh.
she's a good one.
Yeah.
But she puts same thing, puts the paper right by. In fact, I take Kansas City Star too. If it's there before she gets there, she picks them both up and sets them by the door.
Oh,
So I got a good one too.
yeah.
Well,
Well, I
listen,
used to get them on top of the house or over on the
Well, you-
sidewalk.
that's where I would put them when I was a big boy. I wasn't too good. Remember we used to fold them and they'd sail that square?
Right there.
Well, it was like, you never knew, if they hit a gust of wind, you only had so many papers, you know, you just like, well, it's up there. I guess you'll have to look for it.
Boy, I hear a lot of morning hit the door, they break the screens on the door, you know. That little Bulot boy, he really flip him, you know. What's his first name? The young Bulot boy, Raymond's son.
Oh, yeah, Bryant?
Bryant.
Yeah, he's the one there.
Yeah.
Well, listen, buddy, I appreciate it.
Well, I sure enjoy your visit. Yeah.
Well,
No wonder you write such good articles, you know what?
hey,
Yeah.
I appreciate, I got good people to write about some anything.
Yeah, you have.
I'm gonna run out and get you a book, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll leave that.
Thank you, JT, that's nice. He wrote a book called Paperboy.
Yeah, this thing right here.
That was taping you all the time.
Everything we see.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
He's not gonna, he's just gonna use it for his own personal use. He's gonna, his wife's going to do a play about the coal miners. That's why he asked so many questions, because I bet you're tired. Bless your heart, that was hard.
Oh, I enjoyed this thing, yeah.
He's so nice.
Yeah.
I've never met him before. You can tell he's very spiritual. He really is a spiritual person. He has a good heart.
Yeah.
And his articles, every Monday he writes an article in the paper.
If we had a camera, we'd take his picture.
Yeah, oh, Dick's got to get a camera.
Yeah, I have to buy a camera out of my other one.
Yeah.
JT, if you have a minute, he has a lot of memorabilia. So you have to come back to that.
Yeah, well, I can
He has
film a little bit of
miners and
that.
peddlers things and all kinds of old things.
Well, we'll do a little bit of that.
He's gonna
son.
autograph it for you, Uncle Frank. Isn't that nice?
Yeah,
He's
boy,
gonna
that's
autograph
nice,
it.
yeah.
How many years did you raise horses, Frank?
I had horses,
Uh-huh.
25 years.
Did you like to ride?
I had driving horses. The kids used to ride them.
Uh-huh.
I had a little cart and a buckboard.
That's right, you had the
I had a little
buckboard.
ranch, a little track around my
That's right,
ranch,
it was
see?
all cute.
See his painting of
Yeah.
the barn? Somebody did a painting for him over here on the wall, JT. That's a
Oh,
picture.
yeah.
That's his
That's a little
barn.
barn.
That's his barn on Mount Carmel.
How about a cup of coffee, Jake?
I gotta go, I appreciate it. Some other time I'll stop and have a cup of
I'm
coffee
gonna
with
drink
you.
wine. Oh, I got some good wine.
Dago Red?
Oh, beats that.
He mixes his own.
I'll come back, I have to take my dad to the doctor, and we've got an appointment. But I'll call you someday and I'll come over and have a glass of wine with you.
Okay.
Oh, he'd love
No,
that.
no doubt about it. You'll have to, you start me drinking good wine, you're gonna have to shoo me away.
I think
Okay,
he
that's
mixes
good,
some
that's
alder
good.
wine with it.
He mixes his own. He makes a good kind of wine.
Yeah, I got good wine. I don't make it, but I mix it with some sort.
But we used to make it. My grandmother used to make wine in the old days.
You write beautiful articles.
You know, you got
Thank
a good story from Charlie Cicero, you know it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
I get,
See, that's his
Paper
picture when he
boy.
was a
That's
paper boy.
pretty
That's
good.
his picture, Uncle Frank, isn't it?
that's when I was trick-or-treating right
He was
there.
a cute little kid when he was a paper.
I was.
Yeah.
I have to admit that. My mother,
Yeah.
I had red hair. You know, I was Mr. Pittsburgh, 1952. Let me see
Well,
here.
that was the year we had our 50th reunion, and your
You lived in
picture is in the
Frontenac
paper.
Just leave it in,
didn't
yeah.
you?
Just leave it alone.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, I lived in Frontenac till I was
He
21.
must have gotten the porch too.
My sister that's in the restaurant painted that.
Straighten that up there.
I'll just see if I can move this thing. Yeah, see if you can pull that for me.
Oh, there's a
Little
lot
bit.
of memorabilia up on the walls, JT.
Yeah, I'll just give a
Get out of your way.
I don't think it'll go under the door.
Here we have Frank's porch.
Get out of your way.
See my beer box
was-
there? I have my beer right here.
I'm on the miners and puddlers right now. What are you talking about?
My beer box.
His
Oh, your
refrigerator.
beer box. Yeah,
You put a keg of beer in that. and put-
that's great.
There's the biggest bass that I caught too, 7 pounds.
Do you like to fish?
Oh, he loved to fish. He was a good fisherman. He's been in Minnesota all
That
over.
refrigerator's 52 years old.
Oh, it is. And you converted it to a keg box.
I don't,
Yeah, you did.
Let me get out of your way. You might want to take a picture of that stained glass window too. There's a beautiful stained glass window that he put in.
Is this over here in the door?
That's an old saddle. It's like a, for something for a horse.
Yeah, the collar.
Whatever you call it. And he also built an airplane. Show him your airplane, Uncle Frank, that you built.
You built an airplane?
He built an
He
airplane.
built an airplane. It's over there on the left wall.
It's over
JT, I
here
never tell you about the happiest day in my life, did I?
where we're talking. What was the happiest day of your life?
By the door, JT.
Oh, I see it.
Underneath the horse.
He built that.
Yeah.
Another fellow built that plane.
Did you fly the plane, Frank?
Did you fly the plane?
No, I didn't have no license.
What year did you build it?
I could, in the 1932, when I was working when I got laid off the Kansas City Southern Shops.
Now, you were going to tell me, oops.
Here's a picture of my airplane.
Oh boy.
You were
Another
going.
picture of it. You have a picture on the wall too, Uncle Frank.
I saw it. I got that one. What's the happiest day of your life?
The day this thing left the ground.
Really?
Yeah.
So you built it not knowing if it'd fly?
Took us 2 years to build it.
You built it with who?
With Roy Wright.
And did Roy fly it?
You heard of the Wright brothers?
Yeah.
Well, he was the one that. Oh boy.